Today we're going to finish up talking about equations of a line. So this is still chapter 2, section 3, and we're going to talk about the last type or form of the equation of a line, which is point-slope form. And point-slope form is one that a lot of times people forget about, but it's kind of easy if you need to quickly write the equation of a line given a point and the slope. So let's go ahead and take a look at the form first, which is y minus y1 equals m, and m still stands for slope, and x times the quantity x minus x1. Okay, so if we look at this example, it says use the point slope form to find an equation of the line having a slope of -3 and passing through the point 1, -4. Okay, so it wants us to write the final answer in slope-intercept, but we can use point slope to initially start the process. Okay, so I'm just going to label this as x1, y1 so that we can easily put it into our point slope form. Y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x1. And we'll go ahead and sub in what we know. So we have y minus our y1, which is -4, is equal to our slope, -3, times x minus x1. So the key piece is that you're only substituting or changing the y1. X and y we still need as part of the equation of a line. Okay, so we have now y plus 4 is equal to -3 times x, and then -3 times 1. And so this will allow us to go ahead and put it into slope-intercept form. So it's nice we can use the point-slope form to rewrite, and then we'll convert that into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Right, so we'll go ahead and subtract 4 from each side. And now we have our equation, which is y equals -3x, and then 3 minus 4, so -1. Okay, I'm going to ask you to do number 2. You can either pause the video and do it now, or you can do it after we've finished all of the examples. Okay, so let's go down here to the next example, which is to find an equation given 2 points. So if we know 2 points that are on a line, we need to first find the slope. So you may want to go ahead and label these as we did in the previous night's videos. So we have x1, y1, and x2, y2. And then we can put them into our slope equation. So slope is equal to change in y over change in x. And then we'll go ahead and sub in the values that we have. So in this case, we have y2, which is 1, minus -1, and then we have 3 minus 5. So in this case, we have 2 over -2, which gives us a final slope of -1. Okay, now that we know that, we can go ahead and put it into point slope form, because that'll be the easiest. Okay, so we have y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x1. And then we'll just sub in one of the points. So we have y minus -1 is equal to -1 times the quantity x minus 5. And that's the equation of the line. And we can leave it in that form, or we could change it to slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b form. Okay. You could also have used the x2, y2. So you could have written the equation as y minus 1 is equal to the slope that we just found times the quantity x minus 3. That would also be an equivalent form. Okay, both of these are equations of a line, but you could, if you wanted, convert that to mx plus b form by solving for y, or you could solve for get the slope-intercept form. Okay, I'm going to ask you to complete number 2. Either pause the video now or complete it once the video is done. And we are going to take a look at an example dealing with finding equations of lines parallel or perpendicular to another line. So given the first one here, it says find an equation of the line passing through this point and parallel to the line 4x plus y equals 8. Write the answer in slope-intercept form. So if we're talking about lines that are parallel from our previous night's work and classwork, we know that they have the same slope. Okay, so we're looking for equal slopes. And we want it in slope-intercept form, so we might as well put this equation into slope-intercept form, meaning that I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. So I'm going to move the 4x over. And then I have y equals negative 4x plus 8. And of course, this is our slope value. And so slope is negative 4. So if I am going to find an equation of a line that's parallel to that, I'm going to go ahead and solve. And I can use my new or my newly reviewed point slope form to initially start and then solve that for y to put it into slope-intercept form. So I have my x1, y1, and I'll go ahead and do y minus y1 is equal to slope times the quantity x minus x1. And then I can go ahead and sub in those values that we have. So y minus negative 3 is equal to m, which we just found, negative 4, times the quantity x minus negative 2. And then I'll go ahead and solve that for y. So y plus 3 is equal to negative 4x minus 8. And isolate your y. So we'll subtract 3 from both sides. Make sure you're putting like quantities together. So y equals negative 4x minus 11. Okay, tomorrow we'll talk about checking to verify that this is the line that contains that point and is parallel to that line using the graphing calculators. So I'd like you to take a few minutes either now or sometime later on before class to complete number 2 and number 3 in addition to the 2 examples on the front if you did not already do those.